Up on Cronkite News, a big day at the state capitol today. Two big events aimed at preventing domestic abuse and highlighting how you can save lives with organ donation.
Plus, the battle over an 80-year-old church in Phoenix, why the church wants to have it demolished.
And later, a visit to the border where medical emergencies in migrant communities have seen a sharp increase.
Big news starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Melissa Munoz.
And I'm Dylan Nichols. Thank you for joining us. Last year was a record-setting year in Arizona for organ donations.
Cronkite News reporter Connor McGill was at the Capitol earlier today for an event that celebrated the heroic decision hundreds of Arizonans made.
Today is all about saving lives here at the Arizona Capitol. Donate Life Arizona bringing awareness to both those who have received life-essential organs and those who have given their organs to those who need it most.
Know that donation has opened the doors for other people to live beyond, and my sister didn't stop there. She's living in other people.
Lydia Hernandez's sister Karen passed away in a motorcycle accident at the age of 18. Her tragic incident turned heroic as Hernandez donated her organs to others in need. Donate Life Arizona reports that there were a record-setting 342 donors who saved the lives of 776 people in the state last year, numbers the organization is proud of.
We're seeing generosity grow. In Arizona particularly, because more people are saying yes by registering, more families are authorizing it if the person wasn't registered.
The generosity of others gave life to Valen Krosnov, who received a liver transplant. His parents are grateful and encourage others to donate.
You never know who you're gonna save, whether it's a 3-year-old kid or a 40-year-old man, someone's grandma. If you're gonna, everyone's gonna pass. So if you can save somebody while you're doing that, why not?
If you are a loved one or thinking about donating your organs down the line, Donate Life Arizona says go to their website at donatelifeaz.org. At the Capitol, Connor McGill, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Connor. Adding to the records, there were close to 1,300 tissue donors, including more than 400 people who donated heart valves, a tissue that usually goes to save the lives of children.
Also happening at the Capitol today, the Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence held their annual Advocacy Day. Representatives from different programs that help survivors of domestic violence were in attendance, along with some survivors themselves.
Survivors' journeys to healing are interrupted and barriers are put up when we lose funding. And so I like to think of it as a brick road. And so as funding gets cut, bricks from that road come out, and some survivors will adapt and others will fall through the cracks. And it's really crucial that we have this funding to support community programs like ours.
Different groups spoke to lawmakers, including Governor Hobbs and their own district representatives. The ultimate goal is to raise awareness for preventing sexual and domestic violence.
Today, Phoenix City Council is holding a public hearing on the future of a downtown Phoenix church.
Cronkite News reporter Ryan Tismaneski joins us from Mercy Hill Church with what the future could hold for this 20th century building. Ryan?
Right now it's a church, but up next it could also be an apartment complex. That's all depending on today's Phoenix City Council hearing. This building has some drama. It's Mercy Hill Church, located on the corner of 9th Avenue and Fillmore. On one side, support for preserving the building's historic architecture. On the other, a push for progress. If the proposal is approved, the building would be mixed, incorporating aspects of the historic church as well as new housing units. Reaction from the community are also mixed, with some feeling that it harms the area's history.
Well, this neighborhood is full of history. It's full of historical architecture. And as you start chipping away that on different sites as developers come in, pretty soon you're not going to have anything left.
However, members of the church favor the proposition. In a letter to the Central City Village Planning Committee, Pastor Anthony Cox said, quote, "Today, our buildings are old and beyond their functional use, and given years of deferred maintenance, the costs have become unbearable. This project allows us to use the money from the land to strengthen our church and further our church's mission," end quote. The City Council hearing is happening right now, and you can tune in on phoenix.gov. In Phoenix, Ryan Tismaneski, Cronkite News.
Thank you, Ryan. Phoenix Vice Mayor Yasmin Ansari announced yesterday that she is running for Congress in 2024. Ansari joins a handful of Democrats looking to take hold of Arizona's 3rd District. Current Congressman Ruben Gallego announced he plans to run for Senate in the next general election. Ansari, who turns 31 on Friday, was the youngest person ever elected to the Phoenix City Council when she won her position in 2021.
The Arizona Cardinals are in hot water as owner Michael Bidwell has been accused of gross misconduct, including cheating, discrimination, and harassment.
These Bidwell allegations come from former Cardinals executive Terry McDonough, who claims to have a burner phone that he was instructed to use to communicate with former GM Steve Keim while Keim was serving a suspension. On top of that, McDonough cited some instances of discrimination and harassment from Bidwell towards other Cardinals employees. The Cardinals deny these claims from McDonough, stating, quote, claims he has made in an arbitration filing are wildly false, reckless, and an opportunistic ploy for financial gain.
Migrants and asylum seekers are crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in large numbers, leading to overcrowded migrant shelters in the El Paso area.
Cronkite News reporter Miriam Cristal tells us about the situation in El Paso and explains why many of these migrants are in limbo.
Every day, hundreds of migrants cross into El Paso, Texas, risking everything for a better life. They say they have no other choice.
Personas que te piden dinero y si tú no tienes, lo que hacen es matarte. Por eso uno salió huyendo.
Diana Uriña departed from Ecuador after giving birth to her child.
Como es muy complicado. Nosotros pasamos la selva del Darién, venía con mi niño de un mes, pasaron muchas cosas porque en el trayecto te pasa de todo.
This couple fled Venezuela for similar reasons.
Decidí venir en realidad en busca de un futuro mejor, pues para mí, para mi familia, pues me entiende, porque en realidad la situación en que está mi país no es nada fácil.
This is Los Paisanos bus station. From this point, they embark to different parts of the country. After traveling through 7 countries filled with sleepless nights and little food, Villegas is going to Chicago with his family.
Da pena pedir en la calle la moneda, pero si uno no hace eso, no puede continuar y no puede llegar a este lado, donde estamos ahorita.
Just on March 31st, more than 1,000 migrants, mostly from Venezuela, surrendered themselves to border agents in El Paso sector, according to a CBP report. El Paso, Texas has become a city of limbo for thousands of migrants. While some are waiting in shelters, others are being forced to return to Mexico, where they have no other option but to return to their country of origin.
Whether it's poverty, lack of opportunity, whether it's persecution, whether it's violence, whether it's just because those countries, can't guarantee the safety, the security, the human rights of their populations. Whatever reason it is, they can't go home. And then because of the policies that we put in place recently, they can't go north either.
Solange Uzcategui is another migrant who comes with her 2 daughters and husband who was detained in El Paso. She finds herself lost in the city, unaware of her next move.
En Colombia mi vida y la vida de mis hijos y la de mi esposo estaba en peligro. Entonces pues me siento feliz, pero no feliz porque pues él no está conmigo y yo no sé qué va a pasar con él. Entonces pues es una felicidad incompleta.
While others regret coming, they know the struggle in their home is far worse. Gisela Chavez came to this country a couple of days ago with her 3 daughters and only has one dream now.
Mi meta más grande es que mis hijas aprovechen estar aquí, mis hijas estudien, mis hijas se preparen aquí.
Nevertheless, many suffer physical and mental health issues on their journey to the U.S.
People migrate. They've usually taken a long time to think about it. They understand the risks and they're willing to assume them.
In El Paso, Texas, Miriam Cristal, Cronkite News.
Many migrants come in desperate need of medical and psychiatric attention. Coming up tomorrow, we'll speak to a health expert who is working to help them.
After the break, find out how the city is working to help these restaurants get back on their feet after the pandemic.
And a roller coaster ride of temperatures due to a heat wave coming our way.
weather around the valley.
Thank you for joining us for the special edition of Cronkite News.
Here are the top stories that we're tracking today at noon.
Some of the best players for their program.
Stream the best of PBS on any device with the PBS Video app. All your favorite drama, history, science, news, and documentaries, all in one place. Watch your PBS station live or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and locally produced shows from your station.
Sign in and start streaming today.
Now on Passport.
What are you looking for in your life?
There's an important story that needs to be told.
Is it a sense of your own destiny?
Choose your story.
Try to help create change in some way.
It's a beautiful thing. Not very many people get to see.
Once you come into the neighborhood, you are part of the family.
You can be a good person or a bad person. It's your choice.
Stop complaining and go actually do something.
Now you can stream even more documentaries with Passport on the PBS Video app.
Taking a look outside in downtown Phoenix, looks like a nice clear day out there after some chilly temps yesterday.
That's right, but it's time to soak up that spring weather while we still can.
Haley Forbes is in the Cronkite Weather Center with a heat wave that's coming our way.
Yes, guys, so there is a bit of a heat wave. As you can see, the biggest jump here is between Sunday and Monday, but we have temperatures increasing all the way up until Monday. Then we level out, and then by Tuesday, we start to decrease a little bit. But no need to fret just quite yet because we have a beautiful evening ahead of us. We're in the 60s most of this evening with very, very clear skies. So if you want to take your pet out for a nice nightly stroll, it is perfect weather to do so. Now let's take a look at our highs. In the high country, it is still pretty chilly. We're going to be 49 degrees in Flagstaff and 56 degrees in Page. But here in the valley, we are nice and warm. 81 degrees in Phoenix and 79 degrees in Gila Bend. Now with those warm temperatures comes lots of sunshine. And so tomorrow around 1 p.m. we have a UV index of 7, which is pretty moderate, but still important to note. If you're going to be out and about tomorrow, around that time, be sure to have a hat or even put on some sunscreen just so that you don't get sunburned. Now let's take a look at our 8-day forecast. So as you can see, the temperature is pretty much increasing. We're 86 degrees and sunny on Saturday, and then we jump up to 92 degrees and sunny on Easter Sunday. So if you're going to be out doing an Easter egg hunt, try and stay in the shade, have water on standby, but enjoy the nice warm temperatures. And then we jump up even more to 97 degrees on Monday and Tuesday, nice and toasty. And then we have some cloud coverage coming in, and we drop down to 81 degrees on Thursday. For the Cronkite News Weather Center, I'm Haley Forbes.
Thank you, Haley. The aftermath of COVID is still being felt in certain industries, and the city of Phoenix is now contributing to restaurants that are still feeling the effects of the pandemic.
Cronkite News reporter Shira Tanzer tells us about the food grant that could turn things around for local businesses.
The city of Phoenix is giving local restaurants between $5,000 and $99,000 to help them improve their businesses, 3 years after COVID forced them to shut down. Steve Chukri, president of the Arizona Restaurant Association, says the pandemic resulted in about 80% of workers in Arizona's food industry losing their jobs.
To shut down the way we did so quickly was really somewhat catastrophic in many cases, to the point to where we lost about 1,000 restaurants that year in the state of Arizona.
Joseph Rosell with the city of Phoenix says figuring out a way to keep the industry together and make it stronger was essential, with this grant part of the Phoenix Resilient Food System Initiative, which began in 2021.
And we were focused holistically on how do we improve the food system for the better? How can we make it more sustainable? How can we make it more equitable? How can we make it more resilient to future shocks and disruptions?
This grant isn't only helping restaurants get back on their feet after COVID, it's also encouraging the future of sustainability in the restaurant industry. The Office of Environmental Programs has $800,000 to distribute, but it must be used to forward the food system in our state. Rosell says this can be through an independent project or a partnership.
They could put together a proposal to work with urban farms on sourcing more local food, or they could implement some food waste fighting measures within their restaurant, and they could partner with maybe a food recycler or a compost hauler.
I see this grant and I see what the city of Phoenix is doing as really a win-win. It's trying to be resourceful and responsible on the waste side, but also trying to understand what restaurants mean to the city of Phoenix and our communities.
In Phoenix, Shira Tanzer, Cronkite News.
The winners of this grant will be announced by the City of Phoenix in May. If you or a loved one drive a Volkswagen, listen up. Volkswagen just announced a major recall.
That's because Volkswagen says there's a problem with an airbag in its model of Atlas SUVs.
In fact, Volkswagen is recalling 143,000 SUVs because something is wrong with the sensor on the front passenger side. That means some of those airbags may not actually work in case of an accident. So far, Volkswagen is warning folks to not let anyone ride in the passenger seat until it can be repaired.
But Volkswagen admits it doesn't quite know what's causing the problem just yet. They have, however, determined that the problem is with Atlas models from years 2018 through 2021, as well as the 2020 Atlas Cross Sport. Volkswagen says it's unaware of any injuries from the faulty sensor so far. We are a couple of days into April, and you know what that means. Tax day is on its way. The regular deadline to submit taxes for the past year is on April 18th, but the IRS announced an extension for areas of the country that have been hit hard with severe storms and tornadoes. Storm victims in parts of Mississippi and Arkansas will now have until July 31st to file their tax returns. And in some parts of California, Alabama, and Georgia will have until October 16th to submit their taxes. The average tax return is down 9%. Experts say this is likely due to expiring COVID-19 provisions. But the IRS is expecting as many as 168 million individual tax returns this year.
I'm Matt Venezia. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. The Rising kicked off their home opener with a record crowd. We check out their new stadium next.
When you support Arizona PBS, you plant a seed. Seeds that provide educational outreach in our community. Seeds that put our digital resources to work. Seeds that foster the trusted news coverage you expect from PBS. And seeds that continue the amazing PBS programs you love. But our garden can't keep growing without your support. Visit our website to see all the ways you can help our garden grow. Plant a seed with Arizona PBS today.
My heart is racing right now.
Fasten your seatbelt.
You're uncovering the truth.
These are consequential things. Yeah.
Oh, look at everybody.
I feel the presence of all these people. I've got history.
No.
I wish my mom could be here to see this.
Amazing. It's like the most vital stuff, right?
Tuesdays on Arizona PBS.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Matt Venezia. The Phoenix Rising opened their new stadium on the corner of 38th Street and Washington. This marks the first time the team has played in Phoenix proper. Cronkite Sports reporter Nicholas Petrisky has the details on the Rising's home opener.
Phoenix Rising is back at their new home on 38th Street and Washington. And for everyone on the Rising roster, it's a relief to be home.
Feels really good. It feels special, especially that over the past couple of months we've been all over the place. So now that we've been able to settle, it feels really good to finally be at home again.
On the eve of the game, Rising captain Darnell King spoke to how the Rising faithful is a family to the players and how they need to take care of the fans.
That's our family, you know. Just like you would take care of your family at home, we have to take care of them the best way we can with what we do. You know, they work very hard to come out here and support us, and they don't have to, but they do.
That family showed up in numbers, with a club record 10,437 fans showing up to watch the Rising break in the new pitch. It was was a great start for Rising, going up 1-0 in the first half. But a pair of 2 late San Diego goals caused a damper on what would have been the perfect opening to the new stadium.
Playing in Phoenix is different, and now we have to keep working hard to make sure that the performances now start leading to wins, to results, because tonight we have almost 11,000 people here cheering for us, and we really wanted to send them home with a win.
Rising are still looking to snag their first 3 points this season. In Phoenix, Nicholas Patrisky, Cronkite Sports.
The Rising will host Greenville Triumph in the second round of the U.S. Open Cup tonight from Phoenix Rising Soccer Stadium, and the kickoff is set for 7:30. Moving on now to basketball. The Phoenix Suns are officially in the postseason. With a big 115-94 win over the Spurs last night, it secured them a spot. So now the question is, who remains? Who can potentially face this team in the first round of the playoffs? Phoenix is locked into the number 4 seed, but with the madness of the West, they could really see anybody. If the regular season ended right now, the Golden State Warriors would be the first playoff foe with the number 5 seed. We've got a handful of games left, and the Clippers and Lakers are right there behind the Warriors by just half a game. These final games come down the stretch will mean everything for these 3 teams who have a realistic chance to get the 5 seed. The Desert Vista girls basketball team had a season to remember, going 28-3 while winning Arizona's first ever girls Open Division championship last month. And as Ashley Madrigal tells us, the Thunder will now play on the national stage tomorrow night in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
Desert Vista Thunder girls basketball team, fresh off winning a state championship, are set to play in the nation's capital at Georgetown University in ESPN's State Champions Invitational.
Exciting. I was like, oh, what, we gonna be in DC on ESPN? I feel like I'm in the NCAA March Madness type stuff. But no, it was a good feeling. I really appreciate the feeling, so it was good.
Dagan says she expects her team to play defense like they have been, and a key to winning will be pushing through any mistakes made on the court. Desert Vista is one of 6 teams squaring off in the tournament, an amazing achievement for a team that only has 2 seniors and includes 3 starters that are underclassmen.
It's been amazing. It's been a heck of a ride through the ups and downs. We're the first ever Open Division state champions, and so that's been an honor, and we're just keeping our heads down and ready to go work hard and try to win this nationals.
Robinson, just a freshman, is the team's leading scorer at 22 points per game and has already received multiple offers from big-time college programs.
It made it a huge motivator. It was an honor. I was 8th grade. I was young, but with my parents, I was able to manage it. I got 10 D1 offers and looking to build onto that.
Desert Vista is currently ranked number 18 in the country, and head coach Dave Williams is happy for his players to have this all-expense paid experience.
You're going to be out here for 3 days, and you're going to play for the national championship. There's 2 divisions. There's a Geico for the prep schools, and then there's high school. Well, the first game we play a team from New Jersey. That New Jersey team is really good. They got a couple of twin sisters on that, play really good, and they got a tall girl, 6'3". But you know what? We played some really tough teams this year. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I didn't see a team that we couldn't beat this year.
Coach Williams says he wants his team to realize the name that they've made for themselves and appreciate this experience. He says they're good enough to perform at this level, and he never wants them to forget their time in D.C. In Ahwatukee, Ashley Madrigal, Cronkite News.
Finally, last week we reported that the city of Phoenix had filed a complaint against Tempe regarding the Coyotes' plans to build an entertainment district near Sky Harbor Airport, citing noise issues. Well, today the Coyotes responded by filing their own lawsuit against Phoenix for $2.3 billion, claiming interference with the already approved development plans. Stay tuned. That's it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Dylan and Alyssa.
Get ready to say aw,
because you're about to see quite possibly the cutest thing you've seen all day. Coming up, meet the incredibly rare tiger cubs who just made their worldwide debut. That's coming up next on Cronkite News.
Hello, I'm Adrienne Farewell, and I'm proud to serve as General Manager of Arizona PBS. From Phoenix to the Grand Canyon, Flagstaff to Prescott, and everywhere in between, this station is the best way to remain connected to all that's going on in our beautiful state. So whether you're interested in arts, culture, and music, to local politics and education, we've got you covered. You're watching Arizona PBS, and your Arizona connection starts right here.
Now streaming on the PBS app. the definitive collection of documentaries from award-winning filmmaker Ken Burns.
Hemingway, the man, is much more interesting than the myth.
It is a story that Americans have to reckon with.
He's got my job. I'm the champ.
Discover over 40 groundbreaking films that bring our history to life. Stream the Ken Burns collection now with Passport on the PBS app.
Two adorable tiger cubs have just emerged from their den.
The Sumatran Tigers were actually twins born in January, but this time, this is the first one that anyone has seen in public. Alif and Raya playfully posed for the cameras at the Chester Zoo in England. Sumatran tigers are incredibly rare, with only about 350 remaining in the wild. They are native to Sumatra, an island in Indonesia.
And in case you didn't know, Sumatran tigers have webbed paws, which means that they are naturally incredibly good swimmers. That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
For the top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.